everyone, it's Angie and welcome to Make It Monday. So this month we are going to create two different ornaments. We're going to create a glitter ornament and then we're going to create this little wooden snowflake. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with the glitter ornament first. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So for the glitter ornament, I set this in a bowl so it would be easier to see. We are going to use a real fine glitter on the inside, and we're also going to use an adhesive. The adhesive that I used is called Duo Embellishing Adhesive. It's a very liquid adhesive that works really well to coat the inside of the ornament. For this particular adhesive, I recommend using a glass ornament. I have searched online. I cannot find that this adhesive is still made. So I did some research as to adhesives that you can use. There is a product called DuraClear Polyurethane Gloss Varnish. It's made by DecoArt Americana, and that works really well for doing glitter ornaments. The other product is called Beacon Glitter It. Both these products looks like they're available online to purchase. You would have to check your individual craft store to see if that is available. I have had this duo adhesive in my stash for years. It still works great, and this was the first adhesive I had used to make glitter ornaments. But those two other adhesives I will list in the YouTube description so that they'll be available. So the first thing that we need to do, I'm going to set this one aside, is you need to have a clear glass ornament. I have not ever tried this with plastic ornaments. I know for the duo adhesive that the glass ornaments work better than plastic ornaments, but with those other two new adhesives that I told you about, those will probably be fine to use for glitter ornaments, and they probably will work on plastic. At the time that I started using this, plastic ornaments weren't available. I'm kind of aging myself there. All right, so what we're going to do, the other thing I want to talk about is glitter. So the glitter that we're going to use is a real fine glitter. I found this actually at the dollar store. It's called Ultra Fine Glitter. It comes in several different containers. You can also find glitter at like your craft store. I would not recommend using a bigger glitter like this with the duo adhesive. It may work with the other two options. I would just read the bottle to see if it'll work with a heavier glitter. But I've always used ultra fine glitter. You can find it like this in shaker bottles. I found at Joann Fabrics, let's turn it this way, this pop glitter is ultrafine glitter that comes in a variety pack. So choose what colors you want to do your ornaments in. Today I am going to use this pretty blue glitter. So the first thing we need to do is put adhesive inside the ornament. So you need to remove the top of the ornament. So just pull that off and set that aside. And then I like to put my ornament in a cup or something that will just hold it for me. So I have just these little solo cups. Okay, so for the duo adhesive, I always want to pour it from the side, kind of at an angle, to avoid getting air bubbles in there. So what I do is I just tip the tip inside and I squeeze some adhesive into the ornament. And then what you're going to do is roll the ornament to coat the inside, the whole inside. So you're just going to keep rolling. And that's what I like about this adhesive. It is very fluid, so it makes it very easy to coat the inside. So I'm just going to keep turning it and slowly tipping it forward. I know you probably can't see totally there, but that's the only way to get the front part of it to coat. And if you feel like you need a little bit more adhesive, you can squeeze a little bit more in there. There we go. Now I just about have it coated. I've got just a little spot on the underside there that doesn't want to quite coat. And some people have suggested cleaning the inside of your ornament before you start. I have never done that. But if your ornaments seem like they're dusty inside, I would do that. And all you need to do is take a little bit of white vinegar and swirl it around the inside of your ornament, and then empty it out and then let it air dry. Okay, so I have the whole thing coated. What I'm going to do is set it upside down on my cup and let the excess adhesive drain out. So I'm going to let that do that. It takes, maybe a minute turned upside down to get rid of the extra adhesive. You just don't want extra adhesive in the bottom of your ornament, or your glitter is going to really glop on the inside. So just tip it and it will drain right out of there. So it's just about drained. I just want to make sure I've got no... And that's why if you do it in a cup, you can take that extra adhesive and dump it back into your bottle. Okay, while that's finishing draining, I'm going to explain this little thing. So this is what I call my glitter tray. It's just a way for me to avoid getting glitter everywhere. So what I've got in here, I have a Swiffer duster cloth in the bottom, and this is just the top of a shoebox. And then I have a used dryer sheet placed on top of that. And then I use a coffee filter to kind of drain things. The other thing I found that's kind of fun is these funnels. They come in a pack of 2 like this, and I found them again at Joann Fabrics. But they're really great for getting the glitter inside the ornament. I also have little scoops because this is quite a big jar of glitter. I'm going to use the little scoop to kind of funnel it into that. So that's what this is made out of. The other thing to kind of clean your hands up, keep a Swiffer duster cloth on hand, and I just buy the generic brand. I don't buy the Swiffer brand. So it just kind of helps clean that glitter off your hands. So I think our ornament is ready to add the glitter. I got just a few drips there coming, but not much. Okay, I'm just gonna shake off the extra. All right, so our ornament is coated. We have the extra out of there. I'm gonna take a clean cup here and set that on top of there. And I'm gonna open my glitter. And I just kind of hold my funnel on top there. So I'm going to get a scoop of glitter. And I'm going to grab another scoop here. And okay, so I've got some glitter in the bottom, and just like we coated the ornament originally, I'm just taking and swirling that glitter inside the ornament. And I kind of like to swirl it first. Towards the end, I'll actually put my finger over the end and shake it. But I need a little bit more glitter into there. So I'm just going to hold my funnel over there and dump another spoonful of glitter in. And I'm going to continue to swirl. And you can kind of see it underneath the adhesive to make sure that you're kind of getting that all on there. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit more in there. And then I'm going to take my finger and put it over the hole, and I'm just going to shake it to make sure that I've got the top part of the glitter covered. Okay, it looks like I have it all covered. Like I said, just shake it around really good. And then I'm going to take and empty any extra glitter chunks out of the ornament. I've got a few little clumps there, but it looks like I have everything coated. So now what you need to do is this needs to air dry. It's going to look cloudy at first, but once it's completely dry, it's going to look completely clear. So I usually let it sit, 12 hours, 24 hours, just to make sure that it's completely dry before I put the top back in. And then I also have a little bit of adhesive there. I'm going to make sure that I wipe that off, that lip. So I'm just going to set this on top of a cup like this, and I'm just going to let it air dry. So we're going to let that air dry, and then we'll be back to start our snowflake. So I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, welcome back everybody. So we are now going to get started on our snowflake ornament. So what I started with is just a plain flat wood snowflake shape. And it only came with one hole, and I really wanted this to hang by two. So I have a little hand drill, and I just marked the spot on the other side and just drilled another hole. So you can do this with any, I've had these snowflakes in my stash for a while now, but any kind of wood snowflake shape should work for this. You just want to make sure that you have a big enough center for the face of the snowflake. And then what I do is I lightly sand the snowflake on each side just to make sure it's fairly smooth. Sometimes you get these from the craft store and they're a little bit rough yet. And then what you're going to do is just take some white matte acrylic paint. I just used Folk Art white paint, and you're going to paint both sides of the ornament. And I did that ahead of time just to speed up for filming so that you're not standing there watching me paint. I don't worry too much about getting the edges of my snowflake perfect. I kind of like the rustic look of it not being completely white. So once you have your snowflake painted on both sides, I just used a flat brush and white paint. And then you want to make sure that you let it dry good, because we're going to work on top of that with a black Sharpie marker. And it needs to be really nice and dry before you do that. So what we're going to start with, let me keep that in the frame here. I'm going to turn mine this way, is we're going to start with his face. Now I have two 5mm wiggle eyes. They just come in a package like this. You can buy them at any craft store. And then for the nose, what we're going to use is these glitter gem stickers. And they just came in a package like this. Again, they are the 5mm size, and they are self-adhesive, which is perfect for this project. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll lay these on here, which they're kind of small to get them on there. I have a jewel picker here that's got like a sticky end. It just helps me pick things up like this. And I'll kind of just decide where I want them to go. You can go back and, use a pencil to put a little mark there. And I think I will do that. I'm just going to put one there and then one here. And hopefully, let me just lift that up a little bit, you can see that. And then I'm going to take some tacky glue that I have in a fine tip bottle. Just going to let that run down to the surface, and I'm just going to put a dot of glue on my pencil marks so that I can put the eyes on. And again, I'm going to use my jewel picker. If you have like a fine tip tweezers, that'll work too. Just something to help you pick these up because they're just a little tiny. And then I'm going to take my jewel picker, or you can use like the back of a pencil, and just kind of push them down so they're adhered really well, except for that kind of moved. But, okay. So there we've got those on. As I mentioned, these sparkly gems are just adhesive backed. So they have just a little bit of adhesive on the back. I'm just going to take my tweezers and I'm going to place that down for his nose. Now the mouth, because I am not really a great drawer, I'm going to turn this around so I have a little bit of a, I'm going to put that on with a pencil first, and I'm just going to do it real lightly. I'm just going to draw his mouth on there with a little bit of accents for his cheek. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, this is an ultra fine black Sharpie marker, and I'm just going to go right over my pencil line to form his mouth. There's no way I could do this with a paintbrush. I'm not that sturdy, or steady, I should say. Okay, so now we've got his mouth on there. And this is why your paint needs to be really dry. I need to just increase this line just a little bit. Okay. So for his cheeks, what I used is I have a pink ink pad here and a Q-tip swab. And what I'm going to do is just take and get some of this pink ink on the Q-tip, but I don't want it to be super strong, so I'm going to tap it off a little bit on a piece of scratch paper. And then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to lightly rub this pink ink on where his cheeks could be. And this is a permanent pink ink, so it's not water-based. It's what they call an archival ink. So now we've got his cheeks in place. For the stitch lines, you're just going to, again, go back to your black Sharpie marker, and just a little ways from the edge. Well, I need to get my marker going here a little bit. There we go. Sometimes on top of that paint, you just need to scribble your marker off on a scratch piece of paper. And all I'm going to do is go completely around the outer edge, making little dash lines that look like stitch lines. So you just go all the way around. If your marker seems like it's catching a little bit, just scribble it off on a piece of scratch paper and then continue on. Okay, I'm just going to go around this corner, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. Okay, so you're going to do that around the entire snowflake so that it looks like this. Now we're going to take and add our hanger. And what I've done is I've cut a piece of, this is 24 gauge wire, and I cut it 6 inches long. And I've got 2 very small jingle bells here, and these are 6mm size jingle bells. Now this wire can be any color that you want. Your jingle bells can be any color that you want. I just happen to have gold jingle bells and gold wire, so that's why I'm using that. So I found when getting the jingle bells on there, it helped to put them on before I started wiggling and bending the wire. So you can see I've got bends and everything in my wire here. The jingle bells ended up, if I didn't crisscross the wire so that the jingle bells stayed, they kept sliding down the loops. So this is what I ended up doing. So I'm going to thread one of the jingle bells on here. There we go. Okay, so I've got my jingle bell on there, and I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way up my wire. And I'm going to take my wire and I'm actually going to crisscross it and twist it a little bit to keep that jingle bell in place. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And really, these jingle bells can be placed wherever you want. You just need to make sure that you have enough wire at the end to twist that around. So again, I'm going to crisscross my wire and twist so that jingle bell stays in place. And then I'll just take the extra piece of my wire and stretch it out. And that way your jingle bells are not going to move. So then to get the twists in there, what I did is I just took a toothpick, and every now and then I would just wrap it around the toothpick a little bit and just kind of elongate it. And I'll do a couple at the top here. It just kind of gives a little bit of whimsy to the wire that it's not just completely straight. Do a couple on this side as well. And you could use like a wood skewer, just anything that you can wrap it around. I used the toothpick because it's quite a bit smaller. And I didn't want, like something like a pencil would be a little bit too big. And then I'm going to take just a little bit more on this side. Okay, so this is what we have. Here, let me put a piece of paper underneath there so you can see that a little bit better. So I've just got some bends and twists in the wire, and you can put as many or as little of those as you want. So then to get this onto my ornament, what you're going to do is take from the back side and feed the end of your wire through on both sides. Whoop. There we go. And I cut this wire 6 inches, but I'm thinking maybe 8 inches is a little bit better. Gives you a little bit extra room. So then I'm going to take the ends of the wire, and again I'm going to wrap them around my toothpick. Whoop. Need to wrap a little bit more here, so that you've got kind of a loop. And then just kind of flatten that loop out against the hole so that it just kind of holds your wire from pulling through. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Sorry, my hands are really getting in the way here, but put that back in there. Okay, so you can see I've got kind of a loop there. Let me bring this up a little bit more. And then I'm just going to kind of flatten that loop out against the end and pull it. Okay, and so there we have our hanger. So your ornament is now complete, and you can just hang it on, excuse me, hang it on your tree just like that. All right, we're going to step back and look at our glitter ornament now. So I'm going to set the snowflake off to the side. Again, you would continue your stitching marks all the way around so that it looks like this when you're finished. So we'll set those aside, and we're going to check in on our glitter ornament here and see how it's doing. So I'm going to bring that back into the frame here. So it still looks a little cloudy, and I still have a few white spots. So it is not completely dry yet, but you can see, again, it still looks a little cloudy. And it's probably only been, maybe an hour, hour and a half since we did this. So again, we're going to leave that aside to dry, but I want to show you how I added the hanger and the bow. So for the hanger, here, let me grab, oh, there it is. So for the hanger, you would just take a 6 or 8 inch piece of ribbon of the color of your choosing. I kind of like this metallic ribbon. It does not have wire, and I kind of recommend no wire ribbon. I just think it works easier. You're just going to feed that through your ornament hook like this, and then you're just going to tie an overhand knot. I'm not going to completely tie this tight because I'll need to get it off to get it. Whoop. Lost my ends there. Okay, we're going to try this again. Usually I just wrap it around a finger, tuck the 2 ends through the loop, and then you're just going to pull it tight. And so that will form the hanger. And then how I did the bow, I have a contraption called a bow maker. And I'm going to kind of tip it, so hopefully you can see that. It is a wood platform that has holes in it and dowel rods. And you can adjust these dowel rods as wide as you want to make a bow. So I'm going to try and do this kind of with this laying down because I think you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So I've cut a 20-inch length of ribbon. And I'm going to hold one edge, and I'm going to wrap this around these dowel rods twice and bring this back to the front. And then I need to slide it up there. Okay, so I've got the ribbon wrapped around twice and I've crisscrossed my ribbon. Then what I'm going to do is the ribbon that's on the top is going to go through the dowel rod to the other side and back to the front. Whoop, and I have to turn this up here so that I can tie it. And then you're just going to tie a knot. Okay, so you can see that we have a knot tied there. So then you just slide this right off and you've got your bow. It is the most genius thing I've ever seen, and it makes the most beautiful bows. And then just pull your tails down. And then you would take and attach this to your ornament top with just using a hot glue gun. And when I attach it, I actually attach it to the metal piece on the ornament, not necessarily to the glass. So yep, you would just put a little bit of glue on the back there and then just press it on the base of your ornament and trim the ends of your ribbon. So that is our glitter ornament. All right, so we are finished. Those are the 2 ornaments that we made today. I hope you had a good time doing this. They make great gifts. I've made a ton of these glitter ornaments as gifts, so they work really well for that. All right. Thank you. I wish everybody a happy holiday season. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and your Christmas holidays. There will be no Make It Monday class in December. We find that everybody's schedule is just too busy, along with ours. So we'll be back in January with another Make It Monday. So thanks everybody for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.